For AI projects where data is stored in big data. What document is required to understand big data design and database controls for designing AI, ML, and deep learning, deep neural networks? Pradeep K. Suri. Author and researcher. Understanding big data design and database controls is crucial for AI, ML, and deep learning projects. To comprehend these aspects, several documents and resources are helpful. 1. Big Data Architecture Documentation. System architecture diagrams. These visual representations illustrate the components, interactions, and flow of data within the big data ecosystem. Data flow diagrams. Detailed diagrams showing the movement of data through various stages, from collection to processing and storage. 2. Database design documentation. Entity relationship diagrams, ERD. These diagrams depict the entities within the database and their relationships, aiding in understanding the database structure. Schema documentation, detailed documentation explaining the database schema, including tables, fields, data types, and relationships. Data dictionary, a document detailing the meaning, purpose, and usage of each data element or field in the database. 3. Controls and security documentation. Access control policies, documentation outlining who has access to what data and under what conditions. Security protocols and measures, information on encryption, authentication, and other security measures implemented to protect the data. Compliance and regulatory documentation, details on how the system adheres to relevant data privacy laws and industry standards. 4. Big Data Processing Framework documentation. Documentation for specific tools/frameworks, for instance, documentation for Apache Hadoop, Apache Spark, etc., explaining their functionalities and usage. 5. Performance and scalability documentation. Performance metrics and benchmarks, information on how the system performs under different loads and conditions. Scalability plans, documentation outlining how the system can handle increased data volumes and user loads. 6. AI/ML model integration documentation. Data pre-processing documentation, information on how data is prepared and transformed before being fed into AI/ML models. Model integration guidelines, documentation explaining how AI/ML models interact with the data infrastructure. 7. Documentation on data governance and quality. Data governance policies, guidelines on data management, quality control, and compliance. Data quality standards, documentation on how data quality is assessed, maintained, and improved within the system. 8. Disaster recovery and backup documentation. Disaster recovery plans, documentation on procedures and mechanisms in place to recover from system failures or data loss. Backup and restore procedures, information on how data is backed up and restored in case of any mishaps. These documents collectively provide insights into the design, controls, security, and performance aspects of big data systems, facilitating the integration and development of AI, ML, and deep learning solutions.